Yo, 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 welcome back to the MMA Short Show. As always, your boy Stephen Moose. And guys, man, International Fight Week is here again. UFC 290. Oh my goodness. You know, they're always such stacked cards. And it's actually crazy as I'm sitting here now on Thursday that this card just 2 days ago was even more stacked than it is currently. I mean, you guys already have probably seen it, but with JDM, Jack Della Maddalena, you know, he had Sean Brady backed out, which would have been an incredible fight. And then Bo Nickel and Trajan Gore fight backed out, and now Bo Nickel's fighting. Actually, both the guys, JDM and Bo Nickel, are now both fighting guys that have never been in the UFC. They're making their debut, which I kind of hate. I think I would have rather watched them just get rescheduled for a month or two out, honestly. But I get it. The UFC is like, oh, it's International Fight Week. We got to do it. It's one of the biggest cards of the year. I get it, but it's just crazy to really look at this card from top to bottom. Like, seriously, even from the start, I think it's like either the second or third fight on the early prelims. You got that boy Cameron Simon, who is a dog. A kid is a killer. Like, I'm telling you guys right now, watch him. I mean, you got the Robbie Lawler retirement fight. Like we said, Bo Nickel's coming back. Robert Whitaker, Dricus Duplessis, Jalen Turner, Dan Hooker. Good old Alexander Pantoja has a chance to beat Brandon Moreno. You know, Volkanovski, Yair. Like, all this stuff is stacked. And I think that should probably bring into my first point. Guys, if we had to sit here and say who's the best, I guess it's already out there. The pound for pound, number one king is Alexander Volkanovski. But if we had to be real here, like, probably the most well-rounded fighter in the UFC currently, it's probably Volkanovski, as crazy as it is. And as great as this guy's looked against Brian Ortega, Max Holloway, the Korean Zombie, everybody, Jose Aldo, all these people that he's looked absolutely phenomenal against, at the same time, even with the Islam fight, all these things, you guys can mention everything, even though he's a pound-for-pound king and everything. He's well-deserving of it. I don't know how we're sleeping on Yair Rodriguez out here. I really don't know how. Like, I get it, whatever you guys want to call him, a quitter back in the day, whatever, kind of like a Charles Oliveira type thing. Not quite as bad what we saw Charles at a certain time, to be fair. But still, Yair, would get gassed pretty early. He had problems there for a little bit, just 2 years ago, 3 years ago. He got kicked from the UFC for like a fucking coffee just because this dude decides he was picking and choosing his fights. And then now you look at him and the dude's a complete new fighter. What, the last 5 or 6 fights, like Jorge Masvidal just said, talking about how good old Rodriguez has been going to the Aztec Temple for however long now, 20-some thousand feet in the air, or above sea level, so that the guy's cardio is there. His striking somehow gets better and better and better. I didn't even think it could get better, and it still does. His jiu-jitsu is getting better and better, like we saw against Josh Emmett. Like, this guy is getting good. His confidence is at an all-time high, and I can't say getting good because he's been good, but you know what I mean, like all-time high level of freaking confidence. The way that he put Max Holloway to the absolute brim, like, I don't know about you guys, I thought that fight was way closer than I thought whenever they read off the scorecards, and I know Max won, and I know Yair looked at him like, yeah, Max, you won, you were the better man, but like, when I was watching that fight, I was so impressed with Yair Rodriguez. And that's like the fight that I kind of go to kind of look at this matchup. And that's why I kind of think Yair might actually have a really good chance against Volkanovski. And, another thing that kind of bothers me a little bit too is I love it at the same time, but I also hate it at the same time for fighters when, we get to these guys that are looking to be double champions, or we're looking, they got bigger plans than what their fight night is, or their fight night fight is, like, especially with Volkanovski. That Islam fight's out there still. He still wants to be double champ. He probably should be double champ if we're being honest here. And, I just think he's got so many things up his sleeve. He's talking about moving up to 155. He's talking about maybe fighting the BMF winner just to put that on his resume to get the BMF title, which is absolutely stupid. But, I just feel like this guy is focused on everything but 145 and maybe but this weekend. And I know he's really good at being a professional and coming in here and getting the job done and whatnot. But I don't know, guys. Something's just rubbing me out. I don't like when they get that hyped up when things are looking too good for a fighter. Because usually that means, like, all right, man, the other foot's about to drop. Something's about to happen. And I could just see it right now, Saturday night. Yair Rodriguez maybe knocks out Volkanovski with like a crazy kick or a crazy, like, just a crazy, like, who knows? Whatever. These guys, they're so quick. Their transitions are going to be so fucking wild. We're going to see so many reverses. Like, honestly, who knows how it could happen? It could be a little clinch game. He pulls out one of his, spinning elbows, whatever. You never know what Yair Rodriguez can throw. I could easily see him get one little, like, I don't want to say lucky knockout, but more so, like a shocking one where it's kind of quick, and we're sitting here like, holy shit, Yair Rodriguez just took out the pound for pound king, and I don't know. Some just tell me about it. And don't get me wrong. At the same time, guys, I'm not shocked at all if it gets down to the, we're reading scorecards off, and maybe we hear 50-45 all the way around. Maybe we hear a couple 50-44s, maybe 50-43. Volkanovski winning. You see Yair a bloody pulp. Like, wouldn't be shocked. But I'm telling you guys, the man's awkwardness, the awkward style, the different angles this guy comes in. He hit Max Holloway more than I've ever seen Max Holloway get hit. And that dude's defense is amazing, just like Volkanovski. And I'm telling you guys, Volkanovski is going to be shocked at a lot of the things, especially how clean Yair Rodriguez's boxing is. Like, you heard Max Holloway say after the fight, the number one shocking thing with him was how good his boxing truly was. And, you're so focused on the kicks, the knees, the elbows, all these crazy things, that you kind of forget that this guy does have a really good jab. He does have a really good straight. He's got good hooks. He's got great timing. He's got great counterboxing. So I don't know, guys. I'm not sitting here saying Yair's going to win, but I'm definitely sitting here saying, like, I'm not sleeping on him. I'm not picking against him. Like, I'm not picking against Volk either. But I don't know what it is, man. Something's just like, it seems like the stars are aligning. I could see a crazy Brandon Moreno and Yair Rodriguez, Mexican champions. I'm telling you guys, I wouldn't be shocked at all. So, I mean, I don't know what you guys are thinking. Clearly, it's easy to sit here and say Volkanovski's going to win. He's the number one pick. He's basically as sure of a bet right now as Jon Jones was in his prime. And it's as close, or if not, I wouldn't say Volkanovski has beaten as many people as Jon Jones has, but I think just as aura currently feels a lot like, Anderson Silva days, GSP days, Max Holloway prime days, Jon Jones days, like Mighty Mouse Johnson days, where you just know this guy's going to get it done. So you guys let me know, of course, but I'm telling you guys, don't sleep on Yair Rodriguez this weekend, and especially with that new custom belt. Like, come on, man, that thing's nasty. So as always, your boy Steven Musteris. Definitely keep looking. I'm about to have a shit ton of stuff up here for UFC 290, and let's go, baby.